right,
foot to the floor.
All right.
Wide open throttle.
Well, you could shift.
There you go. Look at that. Let's see if we can make it up in second gear.
You're flying.
It's amazing how good the ride quality is on a broken country road.
Yes.
Totally second gear and it wasn't falling apart.
Don't hit the brakes too hard because we could flip forward.
So here's the script. The two friends that we're going to see today, you guys have seen them before in my show, they were very specific that I could not see these cars until we switched the camera on. So 100% truth, the first time I am seeing these cars is when you are seeing these cars. So with that. Of course, I'm going right to the Land Cruiser, because you know I love the Land Cruiser.
Okay.
I've seen this before.
You've seen the Citroen?
I've seen the Citroen before. This, I don't think I have.
No, I don't think you have seen this.
And in a very, like, you know I'm a broken individual. I love this.
Yes.
I love this because it's basic and it's brown or taupe or...
So this is very special. We have been working with the folks at Honda, right? Honda North America.
Yeah.
And this is part of their collection that we're borrowing for a little while because this is a very special Civic. This is a 1984 Civic with 69 miles.
6'9".
6'9".
Man,
It's a brand new car.
I feel like I am transported back in the day.
It's a brand new car, right?
This is totally a brand new car. I mean, yeah, there's some age here because this is old plastic, but it's still, someone took good care of it. It's got this beautiful, like it's almost Pepita. That is a Pepita type pattern on the seats. Granted, it's an odd color, very period, early 80s, mid 80s.
It's a 5-speed. It's really nice. So here's the deal with this car. We kind of spoke with our friends at Honda and we said, why don't we bring this car kind of back to running condition? Because it's been sitting, we don't know for how many years. And we want to get the engine, kind of spruced up, the carburetor spruced up.
Yeah.
Maybe, we don't know what it needs, but we're trying to work on it and actually get it running so it can actually run and drive. And then take it back to California, where this car came from California.
So a couple of things I want to point out. Number one, we talked about the pattern of the seats, but it's a combination of this like Honda mid-80s Pepita with vinyl that's still in really good shape here. Like you can see this is all completely whole. Then number two, this one, it's the basic DX, I'm assuming, so it doesn't have a radio. Back in the day, they had a DX, an LX, and an EX. Yes. I don't believe they had an EX in this trim. So this one doesn't, look at this doesn't even have an air conditioning compressor. So this is the most basic car. It doesn't have a right mirror. So this literally was the bargain basement car. And the other thing you notice when you sit in it, I mean, you're a tall guy. Yeah. I'm 6 foot, you're taller than me. This is a small car. It's a tall wagon, but a small car.
Yeah, but you have headroom.
I do have headroom. So Nathan, come in here and look at this. Obviously the carburetor is off, so they're rebuilding the carburetor. I've actually just been through this with my airplane. It can be very difficult with something that old. And then you can see the intake plenum here. All of it tells the story of 69 miles. Like normally you'd have to dig off, like chisel off, caked on gunk. And that's new in the wrapper.
Yes.
Even down here, you can see how clean where the battery holder is. And the battery in this thing, I'm assuming, is like this size.
Yeah, pretty small. And there's some dust. I mean, it wasn't a kind of, in the back of their warehouse. So
just, okay, a little bit of a side, something I was alluding to before. Fuel injection, we've learned over many years that the first production car, real production car that got it was a Mercedes-Benz 300 SL that was a mechanical unit from Bosch. And that became kind of like where it started. And then Chevy, believe it or not, they did fuel injection in their V8s in the late 50s. But Honda, back in the 80s, when everybody at that point had already switched to fuel injection, if you bought like a regular Accord, like an LX Honda Accord, it's the middle model, you got a carbureted car.
Actually, we have two badges here, Honda and Civic. I don't even see a DX. I don't see...
Which tells you it's a DX.
I don't see any other Oh, is that
Oh,
locked?
this is locked, yeah.
Okay. So unfortunately, we cannot drive this one.
I understand.
There's a couple more you could drive today.
But look at this from the back. Like, come on over here, Nathan, and see it from this rear three-quarter point of view. You see how small this car is. When you think about, like, this is the forerunner, excuse the pun here, to the CRV.
Yes.
And if you were to put a CRV next to this, a CRV would be like a Maybach compared to this.
It's wonderful. And there's another thing. I think there's a air spoiler. I don't know if you can tell.
Yeah, you
There's
can.
a little air spoiler
Nathan,
built
why
in
don't
the
you come
back.
here and show him this? Basically, this, it's not really a spoiler to create downforce for the rear wheels because it's a front-wheel drive car. This is to create how the air leaves the car. We've discussed this with many engineers. It makes it more efficient so it drives with the fuel economy.
And maybe also blow a little bit of air on the glass and clear any, dust or something
Possible,
like that.
yeah, very possible.
So this is
pretty
this
special.
is not ours.
The back seat, it's got rear headrests in the back seat that come up. Let's see if we can get these things up without breaking them.
If you do break it, this is priceless car. I don't know how much.
Well, Honda doesn't love me, so I don't care. Let's go here.
I don't know if
they actually
move?
come up. See that?
Oh,
Isn't that neat?
Yes.
Nathan, show him this. And then the seat, it actually looks like the seat from your Buhanka. Because
Yes.
it's not like a whole seat. It's a cushion here, and you can see where they're covering the cargo area with the seat. God, I'm amazed at how new in the wrapper this car is.
yeah. So this is the Honda.
So did you guys propose this deal to Honda, or did they come to you?
Yeah, it was kind of a mutual. I mean, we originally Tommy and Case and Alex saw
Yeah.
this car, and then the idea was born
Yeah.
because they were in California and they saw it. So that's a working project. Have you seen? Wait, don't look here.
Don't look there.
Have you seen this yet?
No, and I love this.
This is 80 series.
Mine.
Nathan bought it.
Nathan owns this?
Well, Nathan bought it for the series.
Yeah.
We had a series where we compared 3 off-roaders, and Nathan broke the budget with this one.
How much did he pay for it?
Nathan, 15? He paid about 15K for this.
And it's 15,000, and it has how many miles?
150?
154,000 miles. That gives you a very good indication of how strong the resale market is for Land Cruisers.
Yes. And that's low mileage for a vehicle.
It is.
This.
But
this,
even this, okay, it's not 69 miles, but look at the condition of the dashboard of this thing. Like, there are no cracks in the dash. Yeah, the seats have some wear and tear, but nothing crazy. Actually, better than you would think for a car with 154,000 miles. That's part of the reason why these things are worth so much, because this is the very definition of bulletproof.
And this is not like the Holy Grail. So the Holy Grail version of this would have locking differentials,
Yeah.
and this one does not have it. Nathan, are you trying to pop it open? Nathan is trying to pop the hood. But this is a 1995,
So
I believe,
with this-
95.
You are a truck guy. You are the editor of TFL Truck.
Yeah.
If someone were to say, I need a cheap daily, and I want something unique, and I want something a little bit vintage, would you be afraid of suggesting this to them? But could you daily this?
You could.
You could.
You could. And you know why? Because the straight 6, this engine will go, I don't know how many million miles.
Yeah.
I mean, this engine could probably go forever.
Well, the UN and basically any places where running water is optional and there's conflict, the only vehicles you see there are these and Nissan Patrols.
Yeah, so I mean, this is basically a tank. It's probably not the fastest vehicle, especially at elevation, but it will get you there.
So when you say not the
no worries.
fastest vehicle, what are we thinking here?
Well, like keeping up with traffic
Yeah.
on Interstate 70 going through the
Yeah.
mountains. This will try to keep up with traffic, but it may not completely keep up with traffic.
Okay, so a little bit anemic in those areas.
Nathan is laughing right now.
So Nathan had a hard time in that series.
But it's an amazing off-road machine as well. Even though it doesn't have all the locking differentials, it's still amazing.
So take me back to that time. Was it a situation where it was optional, all that stuff, or it was just two different models?
I think it was an option. I don't know everything about these, so, but what I love about it, it's low miles because it's almost 29 years old. But for the age, it is low miles, and the condition.
You realize that's older than Tommy.
It is.
And Tommy's
And look at
getting
the
married.
paint. Even the paint. I mean, this is we repainted the hood.
Yeah.
But this is original.
Was this a Colorado car?
Mostly, New Mexico. New Mexico, yeah. So, and you can see a little bit of rust up here, but that's what I love about this. So, so Nathan had this in the previous video series, and Roman decided to punish him with this.
Okay, so I'm having a hard time wrapping my brain around this. So what we've got here, at least in the back, we have a drum brake, and someone went to the trouble of creating a faux cross-drilled yellow brake, a disc brake,
Painted, yes.
and it's yellow.
Yes.
Now I know if when I wash my car and I just let it air dry, there is like the rust color on the brakes. I don't want that. That's not something I really go
Well, you
for.
cover it this way.
I don't think I would have gone with this.
Entschuldigung, einen Moment. Kommen Sie her, bitte. Jawohl. Sie Autobahn Racing. Sehr gut, ja?
Sehr schlecht. Sehr schlecht. Oh my God. Oh mein Gott, Santa Maria Madre de Dios.
This is my punishment. This is what happens when you cross.
Oh, wait a minute. Again, like the onion, it keeps on going.
Yes.
Look at the taillights.
It keeps on giving. It keeps on.
Stuck on. With
Okay, so understand what we've done thus far. We've gone from something new in the wrapper that is a time warp from the mid-'80s to the quintessential off-road UN vehicle to a nightmare.
Yes.
Literally a nightmare. I mean, I'm sorry if the person who did this is watching this, buddy, you need some help. Yeah, a lot of help.
So,
Okay, so
we
let's
have some plans for this. So stay tuned.
As in sell it, that's the plan.
Well, no. We want to de-cheesify it.
Is that going to be the series?
Yeah,
Nathan becomes less cheesy? Or how about
this truck?
It's not. How about no? I got this title already. It's not easy being cheesy. The life of Nathan Adler.
Well, there you have it.
Can't argue with that. Look at that over there. I want to show you.
So this is.
Brat.
You've seen this.
No, this I love.
You've seen this.
I've never seen this in person though.
Okay. So this video could be a lot longer now, but you guys were speaking German, and this is. I mean, this is pristine.
This is lovely. Now, granted, I don't love the color, but what this is these came out in the 70s, and they went into the 80s after they changed the body style. And effectively what this is an E-Class coupe. Back then, there wasn't an E-Class designation, but this was built on, if you guys remember in the US, there was a 300D, a 240D. That was the version that came out in the 80s. This is the one that predated it, where it was a little bit more 60s in design, where it had sharper edges in the design of the vehicle. This one, the coupe, notice it had a lower profile, and the daylight opening here is a bit lower. It's almost sinister, but in a German way.
But also, this is Tommy's personal machine, so it does not belong to the company.
Well, that's why it's locked and we can't get in it.
Yep.
Yes. So moving forward,
Tommy, how dare he?
where are we moving to now?
You want to go to oh, look at this. Okay, so tell us about this, because I know that you guys know Matt Ferry. His wife, Daly, is a Delica. I don't know if you're aware of this.
No, I'm not aware of this.
Yeah, he bought it many years ago, and I just had, horrible Mitsubishi. But actually, that's a good Mitsubishi. So is the Stereo. All the Mitsubishis you like, Monteros, I'm not a big fan. Anyway, I probably just got in trouble with my audience because I know a bunch of them like Monteros. A little bit behind the scenes, Nathan and I have a fun rivalry about Mitsubishis because he's had very bad luck with Mitsubishis. That's where it comes from. It's all in love. Anyway, Matt's wife still has this thing. I thought like 2 years ago when he got it, it was a couple of years now, I thought it would be like a gag and they wouldn't drive it anymore. 2 weeks ago we had cigars, and he's like, yeah, my wife's still driving it.
That's crazy. So I was not part of this originally. So Roman went out one weekend, and Alex and him picked this up. This is a 1997 Honda Acty 4x4 SDX.
Does Roman fit in this thing?
Barely.
No. Will you fit in this thing?
That's a good question.
And actually, I don't.
Oh, hey now. Look at this thing. You can see the same vintage of Honda from that Civic.
But this is another
Okay,
decade.
no, I fit. Barely, I fit. My knees don't fit. But this one, hey, this one's fancy because it's got a radio. We can't say that about the DX. This doesn't have a lot of miles. It only has 62,000 miles.
Yeah, but so I'm not exactly sure who imported this and why they imported this. This is a K truck.
Yep.
But we really wanted something tiny and also something that works at the ranch, right? And this is a 4x4. And
Do you want to explain to the audience what a K truck is or a K car is?
yeah, K
It's
truck.
not a Chrysler.
No. It's basically a classic vehicle in Japan, right?
Mainly because parking is very hard to come by, traffic is very hard. So if you want to buy a personal car, you have to prove that you have a parking spot, or you can have a K car. And then they basically extended that with trucks.
Yeah, and also they regulated like the displacement and some other specific.
Under 600 cc, I believe. I think that's it.
I think just or under 650. Because this basically has a motorcycle engine. I mean, you can think of it
Yeah.
as a motorcycle engine. It's a 3-cylinder.
I'm amazed the condition this thing is in.
So, and we could start this up also. I mean, this one is really, I mean, it says 660 cc, but I believe this was around the maximum displacement where you could actually have it. And this is a payload, it says 350 kilograms. So what is it? About almost 700 pounds that you could put in this bed. And this is the engine cover.
So it's rear-wheel drive, rear engine.
Well, it's also four-wheel drive because this is
Wow.
a four-wheel drive model. So, and these wheels are, I believe this is a 12-inch wheel with a 145 R12 tire. This is like a little moped tire.
So but this almost could be considered one of those vehicles you see at the airport that move the bags around.
Yes.
It's kind of cool in its own little way.
And we could also fire this up. But I was really curious what you would say about this.
Wow.
This was...
Talk about, this is like a day of bad taste. Okay, so you would think this is, looking on camera, this is like a matte cover, like it's a wrap?
No.
But it's like AstroTurf.
It's Rhino or Linex lining, bed lining, and the whole Subaru Brat was covered in this. And we think, Nathan and I think this looks like Roman's shoe. If there was a shoe designed for Roman.
Well, he likes to wear those Hokas. Yeah, as
Yes.
a runner, I can give him crap. about that.
Before you get
I
in,
do like the plaid seats. The tartan seats are awesome.
before you get in, we'll show the seats really quick. I want to pop the hood for you because
Okay.
this is
Look
the
at this
first.
here. That's not just Porsche that does the tartan.
This is first generation Brat. This is, I believe, a 78 year.
Now, I
And-
gotta believe that even with the horrific exterior, you paid a lot of money for this thing.
Oh, I don't remember.
7,000?
That's a lot
Seven
of
or
money
eight
for
thou-
a car with
yes.
AstroTurf. And it still has the seats in the back.
And it also has a topper, which actually belonged. It was a Subaru accessory.
But that takes away from the whole Brat. Like the Brat, you don't want a camper on it, or whatever you call that thing.
You don't want the topper in that. So this is a boxer engine.
This is a Porsche.
It is basically a Porsche.
This is Subaru. I'm be very clear about that.
I don't know if Porsche ever put spare tires in their engine bays, did they?
No, they didn't. That's a Subaru thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anyways, so this is like a 1.6 liter Boxer 4 with, I
And
believe...
these were carbureted.
Yes. Back then, yes.
Subarus were like Hondas in the 80s. Even then, they had some that were carbureted.
Yes. And I think, if I remember the specs correctly, so that Honda Acty 4x4 horsepower was about 50. This is more. This is like 65 or 70.
Wow, now we're getting up to that Mustang power.
So we could fire this up also. I think this will start better maybe than this, but
You know what? I really don't want to fire this one up. I'd rather fire that one up.
The Honda?
Yeah. This is so off-putting, but there's something cute about this. There's something that I actually probably would use that. Like if I too had a ranch in Colorado, I would use this to move crap around. I would go to Costco with this thing.
All right, now let's see how long it will take to start this engine.
I'm betting this thing will still fire right up. I mean, even though it was relatively cold yesterday,
It is cold.
it's... Oh yeah, it's fine.
I'm wearing a t-shirt because I'm from Russia, but otherwise it is cold.
That's his way of saying that I'm a wimp because I'm wearing a coat, a shirt, and an undershirt.
Can I join you?
Of course you can. Let's get the sunglasses on, do some seat belts here. So the first thing you notice after I almost touch your knee, this is not a romantic situation. You can see
No.
It's definitely tighter on the inside for a Greek and a Russian. You don't want to be 6. And what are you, 6'4" or something?
I'm 6'3"-ish.
Yeah, you're tall. Okay, so the first thing we do is an incline here. And you can definitely tell the suspension on this thing, it is, I don't want to call it agricultural, but it's designed to work in rough pavement and this kind of stuff. So you could do some off-roading with it.
You could. Or
Not heavy
like
off-road.
if it was snowy or kind of low friction, you probably could use this as well. And it's always 4x4. So there is not like a lever you could pull or push.
And there's no high or low force,
No,
just 4x4,
no,
whatever.
this is it. It is what it is.
Wow, this thing, I gotta tell you, it's like a cab over the way you feel when you drive it.
Yeah, we're basically sitting on the front axle.
Yeah, so am I turning here?
Yeah, let's turn around.
Okay.
Because I want you to feel the power.
Going
What
up
is
the
it?
hill?
What is it? 50 horsepower when it was new?
We're gonna get stuck. You got all these
Prairie dog holes?
prairie dog holes, and you can see a couple of prairie dogs
Yeah,
there.
I think they're weirded out by this.
I will tell you, you guys have such natural beauty out here in the ranch. I'm so glad you guys got this place. I've been fortunate enough to shoot a couple episodes here, so thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Okay, this
All
is
right,
foot to the
open-
floor.
All right.
Wide open throttle.
Well, you could shift.
There you go. Look at that. Let's see if we can make it up in second gear.
You're flying.
It's amazing how good the ride quality is on a broken country road.
Yes.
Totally second gear and it wasn't falling apart.
Don't hit the brakes too hard because we could flip forward.
Now, what's it set up? Is it set up with? Drums or what do we got here? Discs?
Oh, I think all drums.
All
I
drums.
mean, this is simplicity at its finest.
And do you have an idea of really how much this thing weighs?
Oh, I don't know. We didn't really weigh it. I want to say it's maybe just 2,000 pounds, maybe. Just by itself. But it can carry 700 pounds of weight.
Bye, Nathan.
So.
It's funny in the airplane world. There are a few airplanes that weigh a certain amount and then can almost double their weight. Actually, none really can. But some have much higher percentage of weight capacity. Or like my plane, for example, it weighs 923 pounds.
Yeah.
However, cargo, meaning cargo people and gas, it can pick up an additional 600-700 pounds.
So almost doubling its weight.
Almost doubling its weight. Yeah.
Well,
So that's
this
what's
can't
unusual
quite do
here.
this, but it comes close to doing that.
Now show them something here. Look at the angle of the steering wheel. The steering wheel it's literally in your lap. Granted, the hard part for me, you don't have much knee room in this thing, so yeah.
And I have an even worse knee space.
But I think that it's helped a bit by the angle of the steering wheel. Let's see. I'm going to try first gear again. Should we go scare some of the prairie dogs?
They're already scared.
Look at these guys. You got 2 of them in their condos here. Okay, so now this is where we feel it's more off-road. But it handles the situation well. Is that a track, an off-road track?
We started to build an RC track.
Oh, is that what this thing is?
But this is almost an RC.
Okay, we're going to go over some moguls here in Colorado.
Whoop! No problems.
This is unusually capable off-road. Like, I'm surprised. I wouldn't call this like a 4-wheel high or a 4-wheel low. I would call it 4-wheel middle.
It's somewhere in the middle.
Okay, let's try this again, see if we can repeat our success. Switching to second gear.
I wish it had a tachometer. It does not.
I just realized that. It only has 3 gauges. Gas, temperature, and speedometer.
Yeah.
I gotta tell you, man, this was awesome. I really enjoyed this.
Nice.
Now this is a very graphic lesson we're getting here.
Yes, we are.
Tell us what that thing is.
Well, they're both Hondas. This is a new Honda Pioneer 1005 Trail Edition side by side.
That's a hell of a name.
Of course, it's a
Bigger-
4x4. It's a 4x4.
Bigger than this car. But this is really the graphic lesson here. Look at the size difference for these two. This is a street vehicle,
Yes.
and this is noticeably smaller than that vehicle.
Well, it's shorter. It has tinier tires. It's only a 2-seater. The 5
Here, Nathan,
designation.
come around here. Come around. Show them this thing. Show them just from the back. You can see the difference.
This is also a truck, my friend, because open the tailgate right there. It's a working vehicle.
And this can turn into a back seat here.
It can, except I think Tommy's been carrying firewood here. I don't know for how many
We're actually
years.
at Tommy's house. He lives here. So you can get an idea of look at how much more heavy duty the all-wheel drive system is on this thing. I'm familiar with these. These have a high and a low.
Yes,
Where this only has
it
the
does.
medium.
Yes, and the 1000 is 1000 cc basically. That's 660 cc. This is a higher displacement engine
So
as well.
this is the muscle car. And then the one last thing we got to show you. Come here, Nathan. Show them this. Not that we spend a lot of time talking about wheelbase and like crossovers and stuff like that, which is the usable space between the wheels. Look at the length of the wheelbase here, and look at the length of the wheelbase here. This one's a little bit longer, obviously because it's used more of a pickup truck.
Yeah.
But you can see the overall size of these vehicles. Wow, it's like this thing is 30 years newer and it is on steroids. Okay, so I can't thank you enough for this very graphical lesson here. That brings us to the point of the episode where we end the episodes, and you know how we do this by now.
We jump over a jump.
We can do that if you want. I'm sure they would like that better than turning around to the audience and asking for questions. You want to go and jump these two vehicles?
No, I wanna hear what the audience has to say.
Notice he backed down on that because he does not own these vehicles. His
No.
boss does, and he would get fired. So why don't we go with the turn this around to the audience for a question. What would you like to know from the audience?
Well, was this fun for you guys, right?
So do you want to do more of this?
Yeah, do you want to do more of this? I mean, this collection is eclectic,
That's a very generous term. Yeah.
bizarre.
Bizarre. You know what? Considering the pickup truck,
Unfortunate.
no, it's not unfortunate because you got the Mercedes and the Land Cruiser and the Honda. Two
Yes.
of them.
3 of them.
Okay, so for those who didn't hear, Nathan said it was unfortunate. So at the end of the day, we're asking, do you want to see more of these impromptu episodes
Yeah.
where we go into collections that are growing? They're evolving.
Yes.
It's not these collections you see that are museums. They don't really change. It's one person's collection, and they found a way for the government basically for a write-off. This is a working collection because you're shooting these vehicles.
Yeah.
Do we want to see more access to collections like this where they're evolving over time? So let us know in the comments below or via our social media, MotoManTV on word, MotoManTV on word, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. And with that, if you found this format interesting, I would highly suggest you check out our Retro Drive review. Those are the reviews, but with classic cars. And we have a different version of the Options Game Senior, which is maddening almost. You can see that playlist here. Until I see you in the next episode, bis später.
See you later.
I thought you were going to say something in Russian.
No, this is America.